No, I just found out that I was live streaming on the wrong channel.
Oh, no.
So Kyle, that was a great intro. Can you do that all over again? Because I think oh, there we go. Yes.
Wow.
So
It's
can
all,
you do
been,
that all
it's all
over?
being recorded, so we're good.
Okay. So we are live streaming on Elevated Realtors. I'm James Sun. This is Kyle Powers. And let's do the exact same thing you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We're here to answer your questions. Anyone? So we have this every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So we go over different topics, whether it's real estate, social media, or anything to excel in your life and really dominate and move forward. So
Now I feel like we should just cut and paste my monologue.
I know, but this is live. This is how live works, Kyle.
You're killing me. You're killing me.
So my question, Kyle, is what are your plans to really crush it in 2023? Are you doing something differently? Have you looked back at 2022 where you maybe spent too much time on or too much money and didn't get it good enough for ROI? Or you like, is there something you're like, hey, this was actually got a really good ROI, I'm going to do more of that?
So one of the things I would recommend everybody to do just in general, whether it's in business or whether it's in personal, I literally went through and did this, and it's you can't read it, but I on a piece of paper, I went through my credit card statements and all that stuff and looked at all my monthly expenses. And I call it doing a money audit. I do it in my personal life. I do it in my professional life as well. But what I go through, honestly, I went through and was able to cut / be able to see how much money I was spending on a monthly basis, because we all do it. We all get deep into that side of it and saying back to that, like what's working, what isn't. So I was able to cut immediately. I was able to cut about $2,500 a month in expenses on just out of my business stuff. And then going in and diving and seeing what can go, what can't go, what you like using, what it is. And because here's the thing that I've really realized lately is that there's a lot of stuff out there, and you can get, not lately, but there's a lot of things out there that you can get $100 to death. I mean, it truly is a death by 1,000 paper cuts. And paying attention to your monthly expenses, honestly, you should probably do it quarterly. Just to kind of see where you're at so you're not losing. I've lost a lot of money as far as those things go, but it was enough. I had enough coming in and enough, and it wasn't a big enough pain point to worry about it. So that's first and foremost, that's one thing I would do. Do a money audit on yourself, on your business, on everything that way, and kind of see what it is, because we all know it's going to slow down. I mean, no more can you throw a sign in the yard, collect 20 offers and be on your way. Like it's going to have to, our business is going to have to start, you're going to have to start working for it, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, it's good because it's going to weed out a lot of part-time realtors. It's going to weed out a lot of agents that can't deal with it. So, but then it's also going to allow a lot of agents be able to come in and be able to really change their business, whether it's going from 0 sales to 10 sales or from 60 sales to 160 sales. So and then just really paying attention to your time. So what am I doing? One thing that I'm doing, like I just said, I hired a virtual assistant to really dive deep into everything, to automate a lot of my lead generation, to automate a lot of my back end stuff that I don't necessarily need to be doing. I don't mind making the cold calls. I don't mind knocking on doors. I don't mind doing the open houses, but I don't need to be doing the paperwork. I don't need to be doing all the extra piddly BS. So that's one thing that I'm going to be doing myself, as well as the other thing that I'm doing is really diving into, I realized I haven't gone in and done a full audit of my sales from this year. But just in general, I know that I got a lot of business from my past clients, my sphere. And so that was a big one for me, what I've really focused in on, and I'm really going to start not necessarily begging for business, but just continuing to build a stronger relationship with the people that I have. I literally went through, so in the last 7 years, I've sold over 400 houses, but I went through and weeded out either one that they hadn't moved away, or if they moved away, if they sold with someone else, or if they just didn't have a good experience. I went through and weeded all those out, and I came down to about 160 people that I really enjoy. One, that was a big one for me because I want to enjoy the people that I work with. So I went down and weeded it down to about 160 people. So I weeded it down to 160, and then I'm just going to start pouring into them. And literally, I did that one time, and I picked up a client. Past client of mine was like, absolutely. Oh, I went through and did reviews and things. I had them go in and give me reviews. And one of them, just by doing that, I had a past client be like, hey, I got a buddy of mine who's looking to buy a house. And so away we went. And so he sent me in contact information. So just pouring into my sphere is going to be a big one for me as well.
So
So
you found that was one of your most profitable and best ROIs on your time?
yeah, so I haven't gone through and done that full audit of where my deals came from, but I know for a fact that was probably a good, not probably, I know it was a good chunk of my deals was past clients, whether it be referrals or repeat business. And so that's one that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listings that are going to be coming up or are already active that were past clients and repeat clients.
Nice.
And so I'm also at that stage of my career too, where it's people are going to start moving, people are going to start doing different things too. So being able to pour into them is going to be my focus for a lot of this year too.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Yep.
Good one. Past clients are awesome. They're the most fun. If you know, yeah, past clients are the most fun. And if they're not, you already know that they're not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Or know how to train them better.
So that's my focus. So utilizing leverage and utilizing my past clients and sphere and pouring into them and not expecting anything in return. I mean, that's a big one that I've been really looking at as well. So on top of doing the things that continue, like video, like we said, like in my monologue that you didn't catch. But yeah, so video is another big one that I'm getting onto. So
that's my what I'm going to do probably next week. Block out a lot of time in a day and go through and do exactly that. Like what has worked, has Instagram, YouTube, being in
all of Anastasia's questions.
You should have printed it out. Oh my God.
So, and then break down where each lead source came from, where if lost clients or lost agents or whatever else, and then what else was going to do? And then like my weaknesses, see where I'm weak at, so I realized that I'm very strong, and what I do best at is getting in front of people in person. So I'm doing a lot more of that. So that's like yesterday why I went to that that thing, and going to try and go like to in-person event every single week that's like real estate focused. And then definitely, hit YouTube hard and not let off the gas like I've been doing. And also focus more like on reels and do stuff for reels. So every and shorts and stuff like that kind of a little more on that short form content, which I've been lacking at. And then I really need to get on my CRM. I really need to learn that stuff. So, and enough people have said you need to get on your CRM, and it's like, you need to learn that. Like, all right. So that's I'll get that done before Christmas. So I'll be proficient at it. And then just really kind of focusing on what works, and the in-person stuff is where I excel at. And that's where, I mean, most of where I've always gotten clients and stuff is just being in person. And it's always been kind of the most fun too. So I'm not drinking this December, so makes it a little different going to these events and not having a drink, but
December, you're not drinking?
No, not drinking. Not till Valentine's Day.
Oh, so you're going into next year. Nice.
Yeah. Even my birthday. Skipping it.
When is
That's a
your
big
birthday?
one.
What's that?
When is your birthday?
End of
January.
January what?
Well, I'm going live. I don't tell people online what my birthday is.
Oh, okay. You can.
But I'll let you.
He doesn't want people to know how old he is.
Oh, I'm 35. But still act
You
25.
realize you're live. You can literally see this pop up on your.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you can.
No, because not on my screen.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
So yeah, that is my focus, is really because I've had years where I just like, okay, I'm going to do this, and never really do audit my past year. And so what I've actually been doing, which has actually been extremely helpful, and I've been very productive this week, is tracking my time. Every waking minute I'm tracking. So which
Are you
has
using that toggle?
Yep. Yeah, because I've done it like on paper, like, oh, track your time, and it just never really helped much, because it's way cooler having like it all right there or automatically, and I just always have that tab open, so it's super easy. So as soon as I wake up, and then I have 8 hours, try to put 8 hours in bed, 16 hours at awake. And so right now, this week, I have every minute I've been awake, I've been productive for 74.35% of the time. So that's taken off for dinner, that's taken off for hanging out with family, wife, everything else, showering, getting ready. But 75% of the time I'm working. So I'm going to try and keep that at that 75. So like right now, I am at 50 hours since Monday at 6 a.m. of working. So which is nice, because I if I like sit down and like scrolling through Instagram, and if I'm not like actually engaging that, then I'll take that off and throw that in personal and won't count that. So I'm going to try and keep that it's 60 productive hours a week, because I'll be honest, like especially doing this, like there's some weeks I was probably only productive for maybe 30 hours. But I was working 60 hours, 65 hours, but in reality, I wasn't productive. So yeah, so like I'm waking up at 6 a.m. every day now and going for a walk, walking a couple miles, and really kind of, even like it was snowing on Tuesday, still went out, and it's really kind of helped me get more productive in the morning. So yeah, and resuming my cold showers every day too, because that seems to always help. So yeah, energy's already kind of started to increase, and I've definitely been more productive. So I'm going to try, keep this train going, because I don't want to wait till January 1, because everyone else is waiting till January 1. So I was like, all right, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to crush it now. And I'm even going to carry this through the holidays, and, get down to the weight I want to by January 1, rather than starting on January 1. So that's my goal, is to get where I wanted to be at the beginning of this year by January 1, before I start next year. So that's just kind of what I'm doing. And it's kind of like infiltrating all areas of my life, whether, working out, spending like productive time, with family and stuff, rather than just, watching, TV and on our phones and stuff. Like actually, like, all right, 15 minutes in the morning, I'm having coffee with my wife and we're talking. And so that's what I did. It's like 7:45 to 8, having coffee with my wife and for actually talking and everything else. So really,
What? You talk to your wife?
yeah, 15 minutes a day, 7:45 to 8 a.m. I thought I just said that.
All right.
It really is that I definitely
I'm pulling the mic from Jim. He's been rambling for 15 minutes.
Okay, well, you rambled for a while. So
I know I did.
TOGGL.com. It's free app. I'd recommend it. if
Is it
you're
an app or is it both?
It might be an app, but I don't do that. I'm trying to not pick up my phone. I'm trying to, keep that, because then I get distracted and stuff, and I get distracted before I ever get to where I wanted to initially go. So, and that wastes time, and I realize that. So, but yeah, Anastasia,
Yes, sir.
you have to have a question.
That's why she keeps putting everybody else in front of her, because she's got more.
1 million questions.
You do? Let's talk about it.
Where should I start? I'll start with the most problematic to like just general stuff. So remember, Kyle, I told you when I did my first open house, I met clients that are trying to buy cash and all of that.
Mhm.
So I've been keeping in touch with them preferably Monday, Tuesday, just updating them and all of that. I remember went door knocking, found one off market deal for them, which wasn't really their forte. Like they didn't like the house. And yeah, and then there's nothing on the market that they like or within their budget, except for there was one new build that was perfect. I mean, it's not perfect for them, but it's like it could have been an option for them, which I sent. I had my automatic email sent. I sent them a message to say, hey, please check it out. That was right before Thanksgiving. And then they left to see their family for Thanksgiving, and they haven't checked their emails, none of the automatic emails since the 16th. Even though I tried to get in touch, I spoke to my buyer and she had a conversation with me. She said, I'll keep in touch, but I can see that she's not checking those emails. And that makes me worry. Yeah. That's my first problem.
Okay. I wouldn't worry about it. So I guess a couple things. Number one is do you feel like you did something wrong / made them mad, anything that way? Because here's the thing is that people get busy. So people get busy, and I get people all the time that haven't checked the emails. If you've got a system that you can see a read receipt email or whatever it is on that end of it, if you can see that they haven't read it, then I wouldn't take it personal. I literally had, let me see if she's read it. I had a buyer stand me up yesterday. I had a buyer stand me up. She found me on Facebook or Instagram, I don't know. But so she reached out to me on the 26th of November, so last week. Yeah, Saturday. And so then I set an appointment with her via Facebook Messenger. Set an appointment with her for yesterday at 2 o'clock. So yesterday or around 1 o'clock, I shot her a message. I'm like, hey, just checking in, make sure we're still good. Nothing. And it just boom, boom, boom. And I made a mistake because I didn't get her phone number. That's my fault. And so then, because that was the only way I was talking to her, was that one. But I can physically see on my phone that she has not read those. I had another guy stand me up for this morning. And so I literally just shot him a message. I'm like, hey, I'm totally fine either way. But what do I say here? Yeah, so I texted him because we had a meeting at 10. I said, hey, this is Kyle Powers, just a second, are we still meeting today? And then nothing. So then I shot him another message because this is twice he's missed an appointment with me. And I shot him another message that said, this is me. He said, if you are no longer interested, that's fine, but I just need to know. And then he responds about a half hour later. He says, sorry, handling a serious personal issue right now, should be available, blah, blah, blah. So one thing I've learned over the years is that don't take it personal on those kinds of things unless you did something wrong. And if you did something wrong, you probably know what you did. You don't have to say it because we are recording and we are live. But if you did something wrong, then you know what you did. If you did anything, if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, then it could be just as simple as this. It could be that they're no longer interested, which happens. It could be that they are busy and aren't able to get back to you. It is the holiday seasons right now. Or it could be they don't like your face anymore, and it doesn't matter because whatever it is, it doesn't matter, because the deal of it is that you probably don't want to work with them anyway. And I know where you're at too, or I'm still in this mindset where it's like, no, I want to work with everybody. Like everybody should use me because I'm the best one out there, and if you don't think you're the best out there, then you're probably in the wrong industry. But that's the part of it. I think that everybody isn't going to necessarily mesh with everyone, but if you've had a good conversation, good relationship with them to this point, then one, just continue following up. I literally had somebody, I was like 6 months, I didn't hear from them. They ghosted me forever. And I just continued down the road, shoot them a message, shoot them an email, shoot them a text message, just, hey, just checking in. Nothing for 6 months. And then next thing you know, they call me up and they're like, hey, Kyle, we're ready to buy a house now. Okay, cool. Let's do this. So it was nothing. And maybe, like I said, you're going to lose some by doing that. But again, it's one of those where it's like, is it worth your mind power, your mind of taking up that space in your mind of just shoot a text and say, or a message, or if you want to just be blunt with them, which is one that I've really gotten to lately, of that, like I just showed you or talked to you about. Hey, if you're not interested, that's totally fine, but let me know. I'll take you off my list. I don't want to bother you any more than I want to take the time to go spend to talk to you. So just let me know. And if you feel like you're at that point, then ask that. If not, then I would say just wait a little bit. And if you know that she hasn't read that email, do you have her phone number?
Yeah. So I followed up with them when I followed up with them a month ago, and I asked, are we still trying to buy by the end of December? She said, yes, we still want to buy by the end of December. We are, we're in the game. And then
time out. When was that?
That was about a month ago.
So the beginning of November. Okay.
I would say beginning of November, maybe mid-November, but then no, not mid-November, beginning of November. Okay. And then on November 16th, that's when she checked the email for the last time. And then she said, hey, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to visit my son in another state over the Thanksgiving week. I was like, great, that's wonderful. I sent a message, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're having a wonderful time with your son. She replied to me, which basically the same thing. And then after she came back a week later, I followed up, but I started having more of a personal conversation because I didn't want it to seem like I'm just, trying to get something out of her. And I just said, hey, I don't know if you had a chance to check that new build. And she said, oh, okay, did you send it to me? Obviously I sent it to her before Thanksgiving. I was like, I just resend it to you. Yeah, take a look and let me know what you think. And meanwhile, I actually called the listing agent to ask maybe if she wants someone for an open house because I love that area and all of that. And apparently, literally the night before, the house went under contract. So I went back to her and I said, hey, apparently it went under contract just last night and the agent didn't mark it on MLS. So it was still for sale. And that's it. I said, okay, I'm going to send you the inventory, what's available now, even though she kind of does know what's on the market. Yeah. And that's how the conversation ended. That was like 2 days ago, probably. Yeah, but can see that she hasn't checked any email since the 16th. And again, I'm trying to keep it, do not really worry about it.
You don't want to pressure it either.
Yeah, I'm just thinking what solutions are for this type of situation. Just keep following up from what I understand.
So
Right.
the bottom line is this, I mean, you can't force somebody to buy something. So
Right.
what you can do, or what I would continue to do, which it sounds like you have been, is just help educate. If you said she owns a house, right?
I think she owns her house with her husband in Denver. I'm not sure, but they're not trying to sell it in order for them to buy. And she's also a lender
Okay,
herself.
she is a lender. Oh,
Yes.
I forgot about that. But she wants to pay cash.
She wants to pay cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that changes things a little, but not a lot. The other thing I was just going to say, what I was going to say is help educate on the process, but if she's a lender, then she knows. But here's the thing. I mean, if she's paying cash, you literally, the fastest closing I've ever had is 5 days. I mean, so it doesn't, all it takes is, if you're paying cash, like you can close within a couple of days, because you don't need an appraisal. You don't have to do you don't have to do the loan stuff. All you're waiting on is title work. So she can close, if she wants to close by December, she can close all the way up to December 30th and put something under contract that weekend of Christmas. So, so you technically have a long time still yet to be. And that's a part of it. I mean, just continue like, hey, I know what I would still do is follow up with her and just say, hey, I know we're still looking at end of December to close on something. And if that's changed, let me know. I'd love to, then I'll quit following up with you. But as of right now, this is what's available. This is what we've got. And just, I mean, again, you can't come off as too crazy pushy, but also you need to be, if she gave you a deadline, just like, hey, just throwing it out there, like we're in December now, or again, however you want to say it. But I would just continue checking in and just, again, educate. And I use quotations because she should know the process. But yeah, so that's what I would do. That's what I would do with that one, is just, and she's responding to you via text. So just text her, don't email her.
Yeah, I'm texting her. Like, if I text her, I don't call her on that week. And if I call her, I text her. I try not to overwhelm anyone, and I don't follow up more than once a week, because again, everyone is busy and I respect their time.
Yep.
Moving on, because I know we don't have a lot of time left. I actually just got off the phone yesterday with another expired listing, which was listed for 1.7 million. And the lady who owns the house, she's in her 60s. She was very nice and all of that. And I'm trying to think okay. So basically, her daughter had a surgery. She has a lot of stuff going on right now. She has to take care of her. And she's going to have family over until the 15th. And we agreed that I will follow up on the 15th, and she would give me an opportunity to sit down with her and have my listing presentation and possibly list the house. What my plan is, I'm going to do an open house in Larkspur tomorrow, stop by her house before that, drop off some flowers and a card for her daughter to wish speedy recovery. Maybe if she's at home, introduce myself, just so she sees my face. My one worry is that today is December 2nd. Until December 15th, the people who listed her house before me, which she has a good feedback about them, I asked her, what do you wish they would have done differently? And she said they did everything right. They followed up every week. They kept her updated and all of that. So I'm just trying to think, what can I do not to lose this opportunity?
I think that's the same thing. I think you're going down the right path. I mean, I literally did something very similar to that to a neighbor of mine. I knew that the sister was put into a home. I'd heard through the grapevine of my neighborhood. I did the exact same thing. I knew they were coming to be moving some stuff in and out, blah, 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 blah. I left him a basket on the front porch and I said, hey, my name's Kyle Powers. I'm a real estate agent in the area. You know, I'm sorry to hear about your sister. Here's some, I know you guys are moving this weekend. Here's this, that, here's it was like granola bars and a bottle of water or something like that. And it was, but doing those things, going above and beyond, she's at the very least, I would imagine she's going to probably give you an opportunity to sit down with her. So I think doing that, if you wanted to, you could go as far as giving out a comparables and, you know, what you found on that end of it as well. So there's a lot of stuff there that you could have that opportunity for. But again, back to it, go do as much within reason, do as much as you can for them, for her to just sit down and say, obviously it didn't work. And again, this is between us, but obviously it didn't work. The house didn't sell, it expired. So show her why you're different, what it can be and what it looks like, you know? So, but again, giving that personal touch, I would definitely agree is a good idea to that. James, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I think that's spot on with it, but yeah, I mean, I know this is not direct at you because I know it's not going to be an issue, but if you are doing that, bringing up flowers and stuff like that, make sure that if you do talk with them while you're there bringing flowers, make sure you keep it focused and keep genuine, that you're there just for that and not go into any sales or anything, pitch or anything like that. Just totally focus on just that. Like, hey, if they want to bring it up, sure. But I would at that, then I just keep it at that and just keep it short. It's like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, don't take much of your time, and kind of start back away. And you'll let them. They'll let you know. They might want to keep talking with you, and if that's where it goes. But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I would
think you're on the right path.
I would second that. Keep it genuine. I mean, you don't want it to be, I would not talk about sales. In fact, if they brought it up, I would just be like, hey, I get it. Don't worry. Or if they bring it up, just like, no, don't worry about it. Just let's talk about it on the 15th. This needs to be priority number one. If after it's all said and done, let's follow up, or even sooner, I mean, just talk to it that way.
Added to that, now one part that I probably would, if they did want to start talking, like, hey, just like Kyle said, like, hey, why don't we talk about that at December 15th at 1 p.m. Sound good for you?
She's already set the appointment, doesn't she?
yeah.
You have set the appointment? Do you have an
Yeah.
actual official time?
On December 15th, well,
No, like saying a time.
no, no. You're right. I do not
always
have
say
to. We just agreed that I will get back to her on the 15th, and that 15th is it's Thursday, so I'm hoping to meet with her in person on Friday, the 16th. Yes.
Then
Yeah,
then I would do what James said.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, definitely. Okay, I'm not saying on this that be your goal, but my goal is always to set an appointment. I mean, that's my buyer right now. She didn't really like, oh no, call me or whatever. Like, no, let's just set an appointment. Like, let's tentatively set something. Like, I'm busy, you're busy. Let's get something in the books because I don't want to have it booked out. So I want to make sure your spot's reserved. And so I mean, that's because it's way harder to cancel an appointment than ignore a phone call.
Yep.
So I mean, that's how I've done really well at sales, is just setting appointments.
But again, reiterating, do not make that your goal this weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it's a nice, to show her that I care. So bring flowers and a card. I wish your daughter a speedy recovery. And if I see her face to face, just to say hi. And that's it. I wasn't anything else.
Yeah. So next question. Seems like you're right on the right path on that one.
Maybe Brits has a question.
Yeah, Brittany, were you?
No, I'm listening. I don't have any questions so new. Maybe next week I'll come with the questions. But as far as of her scenario, I definitely think getting the appointment set is very important. And then, 24, 48-hour notice of confirming that. But I'm big on those setting the appointments as well, because it is harder to cancel on me.
Okay, so last thing, I feel like it's all in the same, it's kind of the same situation. Had an open house 2 weeks ago, really connected with the people. They even brought their dogs, great people. I asked them if they would like me to set them up on the automatic search. They said yes. I followed up right after the open house. They said, thank you, Anastasia. When I set them up on the automatic search a couple of days later or the day after, I sent them a message. And ever since then, they're kind of like ghosting me, which again, I understand that in real estate, that's very normal. Yeah, that's about it. Those are all the questions that I had for today.
Have they opened up? Have they not been opening up that automated search?
No. Like when you get that open, I think it's open home, open house. I don't know what I don't remember. One home. They need to sign in, and they haven't. And they haven't replied to my message even after I send them just happy Thanksgiving and like a digital card. Yeah. I have no clue why they're moving here from Chicago. I even brought Matt onto it in terms of he's from Chicago and he's a certified mountain specialist. So they would get listings from Denver, Evergreen. So Denver metro area. And from me, it would be everything from El Paso County. For some reason, they're not replying, but I mean, I cannot force someone to work with me, so it's fine. It is what it is.
I mean, Kyle, that's just a statistic. I mean, that's just what happens. You're going to have people, that's going to happen all the time.
But again, I go back to that of what I said earlier today, of the fact of it is I have had those people that I've been just texting, emailing, calling, nothing, just complete ghost. And then literally I sold them a house and I sold their house. But when I initially happened, it was 6 months before they were like, all right, now we're ready. And then it happens. Because maybe they drove by an open house and said, all right, let's go in and look. We'll just start the process, see what it looks like. And then, and again, you can have that conversation and be like, hey, I get it. Things change. If there's anything I can do differently, let me know. Ask those hard questions that you don't necessarily want to know the answers to, if you really want to. But again, the other part of it is just continue. It's just attached to the process, not to the outcome.
Right.
I have two general things to say on that. I just look back at myself and my wife, and this past year, some weeks we were super like, all right, let's like go. Some weeks it wasn't even on our mind. And so it just kept on going like that, back and forth and stuff. So, keeping in contact with them. And the other thing is to use your worries and stuff. From Thanksgiving to Christmas and the holidays, people's minds are elsewhere. So they might have been super hot on November 15th. Thanksgiving happened, all this other stuff, their whole entire mind got distracted, and might be able to not get a hold of them until like January 5th. And they'd be like, let's go. So just to ease your minds. And that's just across the board with homeowners and people. So
I agree. Thank you. It's very comforting to hear that also happens to you guys.
I mean, like, that's why
personal.
Yeah. That's why people always call it the slow time is in the holidays and stuff. It's purely because people's minds are elsewhere, focusing on their trips and holidays and buying gifts and everything else, and then they could be right back in it. So,
yep.
So yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about it. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep it on. All right. Well, we are at 11 a.m. So I will see you
It's
all
noon
back.
here.
What's up?
I said it's noon.
If you're in a flyover state, as I'm from. So, all right. Well, no one else has anything else. We will continue this conversation next week, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And we'll
If
go
you guys
live.
have questions or if you need anything in between here and then, just always reach out. Don't ever hesitate. So
Okay. Kyle, are you available for a phone call after this?
briefly, yeah, I got another meeting coming up.
Okay.
So, all right. See you guys.
Good thought, guys. See you later. Have a good
See
weekend.
ya.